Beloved, welcome back to the Building a Cozy Cabin series. I have something very special for you today. It's a very big deal. Our windows are in, our fancy windows. Let me show you the window schedule and then we're gonna start the install. I am very excited. Everything is all prepped, ready to go. Yesterday, Mr. Drya and I got the mini split in. That's all nice, so we have heat and air conditioning, but that's not doing us any good with these big open holes. Here they are. Beautiful bronze wood windows. Excellent, and the door. So the windows, there's a lot of glass in here. Mrs. W and I tried to make the windows as big and as many as possible because these cabins tend to be very dark. So we've got picture windows here and here. We've got, I think these open here, and then we've got an awning, and then the bathroom window, and then upstairs. So we're gonna start right here. Everything is all prepped and ready to go. Now it's a little bit different than a house, of course, because we have logs right here. Our friends over at Meadowlark did a beautiful job. They cut these chamfers in there, freehand by the way, that's outside my ability. And you can see here that we have a header with an airspace. That's because these logs will settle. And so we've got a foam insulation that can squish as that crushes down over the years and won't smash and push the windows out of square. 2x6s right in there, and we also have angle iron, which is kind of cool. You want to see this. What keeps these logs from shifting and moving is a heavy piece of angle iron that's actually notched into the log, so there's no way for it to move. So it's actually quite simple, the install. Once you have it framed up like this, we'll pretty much do it conventionally. So we'll start by caulking everything in. We'll start by running a bead of just pure silicone. In exterior, interior, probably the same thing. Put a nice liberal bead on here. It's funny, people in the comments were telling me how much I go on about government waste, but I'm the first one to accept their help. But the reality of it is who's putting out the fire, the government or the contractors? Private guys. Really nice thick caulk, isn't it?
I cut the angle.
Yeah. Probably a poor choice of words. No one will point that out.
No one. No.
Not the internet.
Not as finished.
We'll check these sills for level. Actually, we already checked these. We know they're level. Looks very good. We got a couple of 1/4-inch shims. We'll put those down. The window will sit right on those. Already got the silicone on my fingers. Didn't take long. Okay, we'll go up and then in, then right on top of those shims so we don't move them out of the way.
I'm clear my shim.
Yeah, perfect. Goodness, how simple is that? What screws are we using for this?
Handhead, 1 1/4.
So what do you got there for a reveal? Let's match it up. I got 5/8 on the top.
I've got the same right here.
Okay. All right, Mr. Dry, why don't you start caulking that next one, and I'll do these screws. Well, the way Jalon and crew did this, it's going to be quite easy to trim out.
I'm clear.
Yep, good. Okay.
On my shim.
You want to take a look inside?
Yep.
I can lift it up.
All right, we're on.
You good? All right, let's check our reveal. Looks like I might need to come your way a little bit. Pole barn guys and finished carpenters are basically the same thing.
My soup was. That was an interesting. Somebody else.
Well, not all pole barn contractors are the same.
No.
That goes with doctors too. What do you call a doctor that graduated last in medical school? You call him doctor. These windows are a hard fiberglass on the outside and then wood on the interior. And the reason for that is the wood is nice to have inside and out, but it's a lot of maintenance, a lot of work, especially when you have a lot of sunshine. Like, you know, we get 300 days of sunshine a year, so the fiberglass is a much more durable option, but then you still get the nice feel and touch of the wood on the inside. It's a big deal getting windows in. It's a big milestone. It really feels like you're getting something done. Are you ready for number 3? Nope. If you can just lift your side, I think we're looking good.
Okay.
And just go up and in, we're good. Try yours up a little bit and then in. I think you're pretty close though. Yeah, I like that. All right. One of the bravest things a man can do is to show his work on YouTube. There's an old saying called, well, how's it go? Two of a trade never agree. It doesn't matter how competent it is at your trade, and I'm not saying I'm competent. I'm doing this all for the first time. I'm just pro-ho. That's why that's why no one's putting on airs here, but I try to do things right. So initially, I was going to waterproof all of these openings with this super skookum membrane. And before I did that, it was quite a bit of work to that. You know, it's an expense and it's quite a bit of labor to do all that. I had my neighbor who has been a contractor here in the valley for decades, right? Built many houses, his family's in construction, the whole thing. I asked him, is this necessary? He said, you can if you want to. It's certainly not going to hurt anything. And I said, well, you know, he was not instilling me with confidence. And I said, well, would you put it in your house? He said, we don't even use it. He goes, it's so dry here. We don't get very much rain. We have houses that we've built decades ago. Nothing. We've never even seen any rot around a window. And the houses that we built don't have these big overhangs that you have here in the cabin. So kind of went against what I was hoping to do or thought I was going to do because it just doesn't make sense. And I don't want to just throw away money and waste time. So that's why. So if you are wondering about that, you know, this is a good product. We used it on the deck joists. It's a really good waterproofing material, but we made the call on that it just wasn't necessary. And I backed that up by years of experience or talking to someone with years of experience. So I'll sleep well at night. I'm not going to worry about it. So that's why we're just putting it in the way we are. This is my first time seeing these windows. Mrs. W spec'd them all out, but they are absolutely beautiful. I like the offset. So this is a latch, turn to open. Look at that, isn't that nice? I like these casement windows like this because they really grab a lot of air. There'll be great cross ventilation. These side windows will all open, so that one, all these, so we can get nice airflow across here. But isn't that nice? Really smooth, really a nice window. These are just guards right here. So we'll just leave those on there until we get, so nothing gets damaged. But that will all this will be wood. So that's such a nice fit for the log cabin. It'd be kind of a shame to put vinyl windows in and have that white vinyl against that beautiful wood. So this way it'll all just be the way that it should be, in my opinion anyway. This thing sitting for so long, I felt like the man in the Bible that everyone mocked because he started a job he couldn't finish. We get windows in, this will stop their talking. 2, 1, and up. I got it.
That's better.
Yeah, let's just put a screw in it. Okay, yeah, we're in. I got a hold of it. Good. Is our friend Peter, is he turning into a Chad?
He is going down memory lane up there too, so. Spent an awful long time up there in life.
Yeah. Yeah, if you pull them off from right to left, then they all come off at once. The first one I pulled off all the individual pieces.
I realized the third go up.
I got shocked twice on this one. Pretty good shock too. Wow, beautiful windows. So far, so good, gentlemen. That is, what, 4 windows in? We probably don't have an hour into that. Oh, every one of these sills is just perfectly level.
Does that ladder sit? Feel good?
I think it feels good. Good and solid. This is the bathroom, laundry room, utility room. Smaller little single hung. Reposition, and all right, I'm good. Excellent. On a bit of a side note that I think needs an honorable mention, Johnny and Jaylon owns Meadowlark Log Homes. They rough cut these window openings by hand with a chainsaw. We just installed all these windows, and the tolerances for the trim on the side are plus or minus 1/8 of an inch. Now this was done with a chainsaw, freehand, in a log home, plus or minus 1/8 inch. What I mean by that is this distance between the flange and the log on both sides with every window we've hung was within this much, all the same. That's gonna make for easy, it's gonna make our job easy, it's gonna make the trim look symmetrical, and it is a testimony to what true craftsmanship and carpentry looks like. That would be impressive in a stick framed home. This here, oh goodness. That was next level. Just suck it up, right? Suck it up, Buttercup. That's pretty intense. So this is probably the coolest window. This is the window that's going to be right above Mrs. W's kitchen sink, the kitchen area. This is called an awning window, and this tilts out. So a little bit unusual. You don't see these all the time, but they're really cool. Isn't that nice? Then you don't get massive wind in here coming in and blowing all of your dishes over, because it gets pretty windy up here. But isn't that nice? Still lets in lots of air, but kind of a cool feature. I thought that was cool. She picked that out. Here's that awning from the outside. It's a nice window. It took Mr. Jiraiya and I about 2 hours to put those windows in. Very simple. I'll give you a final walkthrough. Very nice. Beautiful windows. These two are the same. So these will, they're opposing. Of course, the small, but these will open and get a nice draft in here, as well as this one. We've got the small. This is single hung. Single hung, if memory serves, is just when one of the panes moves up and down. Double hung is when they both move, the top and the bottom. But this is, no one's going to spend a lot of time in here. It'll just be utilities in the restroom. And then, of course, the awning, here where the kitchen will go. Now tomorrow, or not tomorrow, it's actually Thursday. Next week, we're going to get some nice scaffolding out here to set those, because they're way up there. So we've got the two windows. I think those are single hung up there as well. They're too heavy, and it's just not safe to get up there on ladders. We're just not going to fool with it. Several sections of scaffolding years ago when I was building my shop for my Jeep parts business, and I moved it around. I finally got tired of it. My friend, the real Martian, he actually asked me if he could borrow it one time, and I just said, just keep it. If I ever need it, I'll come and use it. So it's at his place. So Mr. Jiraiya is going to pick that up on his way to work on Monday, and then we'll set up proper scaffolding and so everybody's safe and we don't break those nice windows. So tomorrow, it's going to be the door, I think, for me. Mr. Jirai doesn't work here on Fridays. He has the Friday off, so it's actually his Friday, so we're not going to get too excited about this. But this will go in. This is a full panel, full light French door, wood door. And Lord willing, we'll put that in tomorrow and we'll be one step closer to getting this buttoned up. It's really nice to have things back on track and getting the cabin wrapped up. I was a little anxious to have this sitting unfinished like this for so long, but it'll all come together pretty quickly now. The shingles will go on in the next week or two. We'll get the windows and doors in, that'll be done, and then I'll start to work on the handrail upstairs, the ladder, and then start framing out for the kitchen cabinets and all that. Electrical panels, off-grid system. It's just, you know, when I was first envisioned this, when Jalon contacted me from Meadowlark and, you know, asked if we'd be interested in doing a cabin project with him, I, you know, kind of flippantly just said, oh, yeah, that sounds great. You know, I hadn't planned on having a cabin, but of course that would be wonderful. And, you know, when you get into it, you know, it's one thing building a shack or a summer cabin or retreat, you know, off grid and, you know, away from the building department, and all of that. But this is essentially, no, not essentially, this is the same as building a 10,000 square foot house. You know, not in the amount of things you have to do, but all the projects are all the same. You still have to have heat and air conditioning. You still have to have windows, doors, shingles. You have to have four corners, a foundation, cabinetry, toilets, showers, you know, all that thing. It's granted it's on a smaller scale, but this is it's a pretty big project. It's building a house is what it is. So that's it. May God bless you and your families. Please keep us in your prayers, and we'll see you all on the next video.